Hey guys, so Sir bringing you another video and welcome to another new exciting video of a new champion in League of Legends, Bel'Veth. So thank you very much to Riot for supplying me with her abilities and all the video clips and everything so I can make this video launched with the official launch of the champion. Again, unfortunately, this specific champion has been leaked quite a bit, but this is the official rundown with the official text and everything that I can tell you what this champion does. So I can say she is designed to be a jungle skirmisher, but before we get into her abilities in itself, just a couple things. We are going to be doing a giveaway for this champion and her starting skin bundle. So you'll get the champion and her launch skin, which I'll show you what it is in a second. If you want to make sure you want to enter that, please do throw a like on this video, be a subscriber of this channel, and comment down below, what do you think of the champion? Do you like it? Do you think it's overpowered? Do you think it looks weak? Make sure, though, in your comment, you do include your summoner name and your server, as obviously that's how I'm going to get in touch with you to gift you the bundle ultimately. So this is her base skin. So she is a void monster champion, but I know a lot of people looking at this will be like, that doesn't look like a monster fully. It looks kind of like a humanoid, but with monster features. I can say this is a monster champion. You'll see why moving forward in the gameplay, or if you've watched the cinematics, you can kind of get the gist that her head, her humanoid head, isn't real. It's kind of a distraction or a lure that she's kind of mimicking humans to lure them in a little bit. And then, you know, when they get in prey range type of thing, she kind of unveils her true self. And then her launch skin is that. So that is actually Battle Boss Bel'Veth. So very cool. I like it. You can see like it's a video game kind of centric. Health bar at the bottom. Sona, Riven, and Ezreal Battle Boss are trying to, or Arcade are trying to take her on. So I kind of like that. It's kind of cool in the design. So I do respect that quite nicely. But let's get into the kit, which I will say, obviously I have looked through this myself. It's pretty spicy. I'll give my overall opinions about it as we go on and, you know, in the closing thoughts of the video. But let's begin with her passive. So the way I'll always do this is I'll play the footage for whatever ability I'm talking about. I'll let the sound play for like the first run through so you can hear what the ability sounds like. And then I'll mute the audio and then we can talk about fully what it does, etc. So anyway, the passive is Death in Lavender. So that is a passive. So all this is pretty basic, I guess, is Death in Lavender is after using an ability, Bel'Veth's next 2 attacks have increased attack speed. Additionally, whenever Bel'Veth takes down a large monster or champion, she gains permanent bonus attack speed in the form of lavender stacks. Bel'Veth attacks faster than normal and does not have an attack speed cap. However, her attacks and on-hit effects deal reduced damage, and she does not gain attack speed on level up. So she'll gain, obviously, attack speed from items. She'll gain attack speed from these stacks, but she'll not get attack speed as she levels up. But obviously, we mentioned earlier that she's a humanoid monster. As you can see, her model in-game is very monster-like. It's not really a human at all. She's kind of like a manta ray, a floating manta ray, if you will. Which I think looks pretty cool. And the fact that she's like humanoid to lure people in, I do think adds to kind of what she is. She is the end, basically, of the world. If she, if she takes over, the void will consume. That's the idea. But that is her passive, Death in Lavender. Moving on to her Q, which is called Void Surge. So that was her Q, Void Surge. So Bel'Veth dashes in one of 4 directions, dealing damage to all enemies she passes through and applying on-hit effects. So that's kind of unique. She's applying on-hit effects through a dash ability. Each direction has its own unique cooldown that scales with attack speed. So this, in essence, is kind of like a reverse Fiora ultimate in a way that it's combining Fiora ulti and Fiora Q. That obviously Fiora can dash in a direction, any direction she wants, really. And then her ultimate is designed to kind of hit a target on each side. Bel'Veth is dashing, kind of like a Fiora, but it's for her own procs on each side, not really, not trying to do it on the enemy on a certain side. So it's kind of like that. But the fact that a dash ability is applying on hit effects is kind of unique. Obviously, this champion is designed to be an attack speed on hit champion. Not quite sure if she's AP or AD. Probably just generic attack speed. You're thinking Kraken, maybe if she builds an AD carry item, or Wit's End, Blade the Ruin King. Obviously, there's a bunch of options, but on hit definitely does seem the way to go on this champion. Next up is her W, which is called Above and Below. So pretty obviously basic by the look of it, but does look cool. The animation's nice, obviously using her tail here. So Bel'Veth slams her tail down, dealing damage, knocking up, and slowing enemies who are hit. Upon hitting an enemy, this ability reduces Q, Void Surge's dash cooldown in the direction of the champion hit. So in this regard, if Bel'Veth uses Q first, and that gets rid of that direction, she can't use it again straight away, but then hits the W straight after, very quickly her Q will come back on direction, back on cooldown of that direction if it does land on an opponent. So you already can kind of slowly start to see how these combos are going to work. Open with Q, then hit the W, that will get your Q back in that direction, and that's how you're going to kind of stick on top of people. So you're kind of seeing the combos form as the abilities press on. Anyway, let's move on to her E, which is called a Royal Maelstrom. So pretty quick ability here. So this is pretty simple. Bel'Veth channels a storm of slashes around her, gaining damage reduction and increased lifesteal. Each slash strikes the lowest health enemy within her Maelstrom, dealing more damage the more health they are missing. So it's kind of an execute. The amount of slashes scales with her attack speed. So you're already getting a lot of like scales with attack speed, scales with this, scales with that. This champion to me is already in the kind of process of becoming a late game absolute hyper carry, because the more on hit items you have, well, you're applying on hit with your Q, the more attack speed you have through items and those lavender stacks, it affects everything within her kit. It's the more attack speed you have, the more these slashes hit one of your opponents, for example. So it kind of all links together. And, so far, I actually am seeing a skirmish / assassin-y type of jungler. And again, that is what she is designed to be. I'm sure, obviously, there will be people trying to take her into top lane or mid or whatever it may be. But she is designed to be kind of like Rek'Sai, which you're seeing there as the example of what she's hitting. That's kind of why they're probably showing Rek'Sai, because she is kind of like another Rek'Sai in a way. Not to replace Rek'Sai, but another Void skirmish jungler. Now we're going to go into the ultimate, which is a little bit crazy, and it is called Endless Banquet. So obviously that looks a little bit nuts. And this is obviously like the true monster part really of Bel'Veth. Like, she looks like a monster normally, but with this especially, yeah, the monster comes out. So there are 2 parts, or really 3 parts actually, to this ultimate. So there's a passive, which we'll go over first. The passive is every second attack against the same target deals additional true damage, stacking indefinitely. So if you just constantly keep attacking the same target, your true damage goes up and up and up. Hence kind of the skirmish aspect of this champion. She's not really there to burst people, because her true damage goes up the more she attacks somebody. Takedowns against epic monsters and champions leave behind a piece of void coral. Epic monsters from the void, like Rift Herald and Baron, drop special Voidia void coral. So you'll see the void coral in a minute. When she kills somebody, it kind of like lands on the floor. There it is there. So she can consume that. So now we get into the active, which is Bel'Veth consumes a piece of void coral and explodes. slowing and dealing true damage to nearby enemies based on their missing health. Another execute. That's actually her second execute kind of thing within her kit. Upon consuming Void Coral, Bel'Veth temporarily changes into her true form. Consuming Void Coral left by epic monsters from the Void, Rift Herald and Baron, grants Bel'Veth her true form for an extended duration and causes minions that die in her presence to be reborn as faithful Voidlings. Voidlings are small minions that will serve Bel'Veth by marching down the lane in which they are spawned. So you can see that on the screen there. It doesn't exactly look like a Malzahar Voidling, but you can see they're walking down the lane. So that obviously is kind of mad. And then the final thing is just when she's in true form, the big monster part is when she unleashes her true form, she actually gains increased maximum health. So obviously that's a lot to go through because there's a passive there, there's an active there, and then what does actually her true form give? It gives her increased max health. So she is in essence, when she has level 6, she will then gain more damage every second attack on the same champion. It has to be the same champion, hence the skirmish nature of this champion. She gains additional true damage that stacks indefinitely. So try not to fight this champion for a long period of time. And that's the kind of point that this champion, I do believe, got delayed for a couple reasons. One of the reasons I actually think this champion has been delayed is they wouldn't have wanted to release this champion in the burst meta. This champion is I want to be in combat against the same champion for a long period of time. That is what the meta is turning into. That is, with the resistance buff, it's less burst, it's more actual fighting constantly for longer periods of time. And that is exactly what Bel'Veth wants to do. She gains more strength the longer she's fighting somebody 1v1, especially. So obviously then there's obviously the Void Coral that I don't know, and this is the thing to say, if you kill an epic monster or you kill Baron, you killed Rift Herald, how long will that coral stay on the floor? Do you have to consume it straight away? Arguably, you might be able to leave it there for 30 seconds or a minute and kind of like a corky package, go over and eat some of that Void Coral when you know a big fight is coming up and you want your true form for that time. You won't want your true form when you're just randomly jungle clearing. You'll want your true form when a dragon is coming up or we are going to fight in mid lane 5v5. That's when you'd want your true form. So that is the only question that I would have right now. I do not have the answer to that. And obviously, as we saw, when Bel'Veth does go into her true form, any minions in the nearby area will turn into her Voidlings. And she, you know, that's extra presence, extra wave push, extra everything, really. But that is it. That is the champion. So ultimately, I'd love to hear what you guys think of her. She does seem to be kind of unique in many ways. She definitely is a monster champion with humanoid elements, clearly. But definitely monster. And that's what I think a lot of people kind of wanting for the last couple of years, which is good. And yeah, she's cool. I like her. Right now, I don't see her being, like, the word overpowered obviously is blown out a lot in League of Legends, but I don't see her being overpowered the end. I do think that additional true damage stacking indefinitely could be a bit strong, especially with the current meta turning into resistances are going up, and that is basically a buff to true damage, right? So she's going to have her own stacking true damage indefinitely, and clearly the way that they're designing the champion is a on-hit item user, attack speed on hit. So she could be weirdly kind of like an AD carry type champion that she's buying. Kraken for percentage health damage, Blade of the Ruined King, Wit's End, Ginsu's. Like, she could buy all of these champions and that would turn her into basically a scary void on hit, like kind of like a Vayne in a way, like a melee Vayne. And it doesn't look like she's pure melee either. She does have a bit of range to her attacks, not pure melee. But no, I am very excited about this champion. I'd love to hear what you guys think about her. She does seem a bit unique. You know, a lot of champions in modern day League, they do seem a little bit samey, it has to be said, where this champion is a little bit different. But that is going to be it. If you guys enjoyed my video on the new champion Bel'Veth, bit of a tongue twister if you got a dry mouth, Bel'Veth, do throw a like on it. Obviously, if you want to enter to win the giveaway too, be a subscriber and comment down below, what do you think of the champion? I'm actually very interested to know, because she looks cool to me, but to some people, she's like, oh, it's overpowered, it's over. Like, you never know. One final thing, by the way, I actually missed. Oh, I actually missed a little bit about her ultimate. Riot will be shouting at me here. So there was on another page of apologies, I missed this. Her true form, it doesn't just give her increased max health. There's actually more that it gives. So it actually gives, apologies, increased max health, out of combat movement speed, attack range, and total attack speed. And then while in her true form, she also gains the ability to dash through walls with her Q. So she actually then can go through walls with her Q where she normally cannot do that. So yeah, apologies, I missed that. So she actually can do a bit more when she's in her true form. And I completely understand personally the out of combat movement speed, because again, let's just give the random example that you kill an epic monster. You kill, I think red buff should give obviously a coral from my understanding. That's an epic monster. Maybe, or maybe it's just Baron and Rift. But let's just give the example we definitely know is true. Baron is up. You kill Baron, but you know the dragon is spawning in the next minute. You definitely want to get there for that dragon. So you consume the void coral that Baron kills. Baron drops and you kill Baron. And then when you're in your true form, you have the out of combat movement speed to get over to the dragon with your true form. That does kind of make sense. But there we go. That is going to be it. That is everything. If you guys did enjoy, please do throw a like on it. Let me know what you think down below. And yeah, thank you much again to Riot for giving me the early access to this type of video. I always love doing them, and hopefully you guys enjoy them. But I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal